It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job. We are your podcast for relevant and relatable conversations with contractors. Hopefully bringing a little entertainment to you as well. My name is Mike. That's Brian.
Hello.
We are episode 54 today of our podcast, and our guest today is Bill Carmichael, president founder of My SoyLutions, and a certified Roof Maxx dealer up in the Monterey area. So, how you doing, Bill?
Hey, Bill.
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Thanks for taking the time to join us here, and we appreciate you taking a little bit of time here. We understand it's your first podcast.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, we will we'll try to be nice. We'll try to be nice.
All right. Well, time will tell.
Yeah, right. So, give us a little history. How you got started in this industry, and the road to kind of where you are now, and everything in between.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've actually been a full-time real estate agent in Monterey County for almost 18 years now, and it's been a good business. And I've always kind of been interested in the trades. I've always been involved with, understanding systems of the house, and I'd always get up on a roof when I had the opportunity. I'd always, check out the septic systems. I always wanted to know more and how things operate and what issues might be present or could happen so I could inform my clients. And last year in September, actually saw this Facebook ad about Roof Maxx and how it restores and rejuvenates asphalt shingle roofs and can prolong the life of a roof from 5 to 15 years. And folks wouldn't have to re-roof if the house qualified for a Roof Maxx treatment. So I was thinking about that. I've had many real estate transactions go south. No one wanted to pay for a new roof. I thought, wow, this is incredible and has so much potential just to help clients do a treatment at 15 to 20% of the cost of a re-roof and get a 5-year transferable warranty that they could give to their buyers. So that just sparked my interest. I started digging into it, learning more about it. And as I went along, it just started to present itself as an amazing product and potentially the next big thing. And that's what, recently Kevin Harrington, who's one of the first sharks on Shark Tank, he actually just joined forces with Roof Maxx, and he started in the home improvement industry himself, and he thinks this is the next big thing too. So
that's not a bad
I think I got connected with a great company. Their support for dealers is great. They're always trying to improve, and it's basically a business in a box, so to speak. And I bought into it. A lot more involved than I initially anticipated with starting this type of business, since I've not done it before. I'll tell you, real estate's a lot easier, but I think this is going to be as rewarding because I get to help so many more people. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of where I came from and what I'm doing now.
Very cool. So are you just a dealer too, or are you doing anything else as well?
Well, I'm still doing real estate. I'm still, and I'm doing the Roof Maxx, getting that started. Basically I'm partnered with a contractor, his license is attached to my business, and he's helping. And as we grow, we're going to hire crews and get extra vans. I'm also president of a local community youth center board. So I'm staying pretty busy. Maybe a little bit more than I'd like, but it's all good and it's exciting. So, I mean, this Roof Maxx product, when I'm talking to customers and start telling them about all the benefits and what it can do, a lot of times people's eyes will just light up, and it's like, oh, just a wow moment. Like, okay, they get it at that point. And then it's like, all right, when can we schedule? So It's pretty neat. And it's not easy just because people don't really understand it yet overall, and it's going to take some time to get it out there and educate the public, but that time will come. So
Yeah. So are you just like a one man sales team for your product in your area, or how's that structured?
yeah, pretty much at this point I am, and I'm doing a lot of local marketing, but the Roof Maxx corporate does do a lot of Facebook marketing. So I'm actually getting leads through them up in San Jose. And last weekend I did 2 jobs in San Jose, and I'm just going to dedicate Saturdays for out of area jobs and keep the other local jobs here that I produce here. So yeah, Roof Maxx does have some, and they're working on some other programs to help with lead generation. Their business basically is to support the dealers and sell product, and helping dealers get more leads when they're starting out and as they're developed. Is a benefit for everybody. So there is some help in that regard.
Are they always going to be doing that in terms of, or is that just more for businesses starting out in terms of getting leads and lead generation, marketing, all that?
I think it's an ongoing thing for them. I mean, they just feel like it's, to support their dealer base and to get it out there
they
throughout the nation.
Sell product, right? I mean,
yeah, it helps them in their business structure, and it helps us and as dealers, and it helps the community to learn about the product. And a really huge part of it is it's going to save a lot of waste in our landfills. It's going to help the environment. People won't have to re-roof so soon. An average roof weighs about 2 to 3 tons of waste. So there's millions of pounds potential that won't go into landfills, and then natural resources won't be used for new shingles as much. And it's a soy-based product. It's safe, environmentally safe, safe for people, pets, landscape. So across the board, it's a green product.
Wow, very cool. So if I understand it, you're out there selling the product and selling the jobs, and then you said you had a contractor that you partnered with that is applying the product. Is that kind of how it works?
Well, I've trained him how to apply the product. I've got a new employee that I'm training to apply the product. It's in college, I had 3 painting crews with a company called University Painters. So they'd do all the prep, and I'd come in and spray. So I've got that spray experience, which is great. So I'm training these guys. It's critical to keep it even and be methodical about getting it on evenly, just to make sure everything has proper coverage. But it's a pretty quick process and very not invasive at all. Very quiet. We have an electric pump on our tank, and an average house can be sprayed in half an hour.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
average, like what size home?
2,500 square feet.
Okay.
Prep is always the key. So we do a free inspection with a photo roof report that we offer the client. And if there's any tune-up items, we'll basically include probably a half an hour's worth of labor to do various tune-up items for leak-prone items, rubber vent boots on vent pipes, cracked shingles, loose flashings, any exposed nails need to be sealed, pretty basic things like that. We're not going to replace a section of roof, that needs 5-10 shingles. We might do 1 or 2, but, you can basically think of us as the Jiffy Lube and the roofer as the mechanic. We're just doing the maintenance on the roof. We're not fixing the major leak issues.
Right. Right. Are you packaging this as part of your real estate business as well? When you're selling or listing a property, or I'm sure that probably has a component in there.
Yeah, it does. I'm certainly letting clients know about it, and I've done a couple roof inspections for clients that their roof would benefit from a treatment. They haven't done it yet, but I think in time, clients will be interested and understand it. A big resource are other realtors, and connecting with them is pretty important, I think, for my business, just to offer them the potential for the free roof inspection as well as the treatment to extend life. I mean, roofs always come up in real estate transactions, but people just don't understand that shingles dry out between 6 and 10, 12 years, and then they're going to start failing pretty soon after that if they're not maintained. And here's a product to resolve that issue. So, that's great.
Very cool.
So if I'm a roofing contractor and I want to start applying this product or offering it to potential clients, would I come to you, or does Roof Maxx? Do you have to be a certified Roof Maxx dealer? How would that work? Or I guess what I'm trying to say, are you kind of
exclusive? I'm an exclusive dealer here in Monterey County. So
any contractor that wants to use it has to come through you.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, they wouldn't be able to use the actual product. I'm not allowed to sell it to other contractors, but we apply it and do the job. But, initially I was a little hesitant about roofers, but I realized, a lot of roofers aren't going to understand it. There's a lot of people that won't actually do the research for the product to understand it, and they'll just think it's snake oil. But once they do that research, they'll start to understand it. So I've actually sort of partnered with a couple roofers already. I've referred probably 15, since I've started, about 10 to 15 roofs that we couldn't treat, that did not qualify. So I passed them on to several roofers.
Just because there was too much damage that they had to replace and fix?
Yeah, they were too old. They were, they were at the end of their life. So basically, to qualify a roof for a Roof Maxx treatment, it has to have about 30% or less granule loss on the shingle. Anything more than that, then corporate won't give the 5-year warranty. But one of these, a job I just did in San Jose, it had between 30 and 40, and some shingles were about 50% loss, but he couldn't afford to put a new roof on. He needed just a few more years to save enough money for a new roof. And I told him, look, it's going to help your roof, but, we're not going to be able to offer the warranty, unfortunately, and it's your choice. If you want me to spray it, I will. And I ended up spraying it for him. So probably did about an hour and a half of tune-up work and then about a half an hour of spray. So, but he's pretty excited about that. I just looked at one yesterday that actually was referred by a roofer to me, but when I went up on the roof, it just had way too many failed seal tabs. It had broken shingles from wind damage, had a lot of exposed fiberglass. It had about 50% granule loss. And I just told the customer, look, it's going to be a waste of money for you. She was hoping to put it on the market for sale. She's going to get the best value by getting a new roof on the structure. So, we don't want to waste people's money. Obviously, we want to spray the roof, but it just doesn't make sense sometimes. So we just express that to the customers. They're happy about that. And, we go on to the next one.
Yeah, going back to kind of the contractor route, I have to imagine it's probably difficult talking to a contractor and telling them, hey, there's this product I have that I can help you out with, but you're only going to get 20% of the revenue that you would have got if you talk them into replacing their whole roof. You know what I mean? I feel like that might be a tough hurdle to get over with some contractors.
Well, I think the good roofing contractors are going to understand, and they're going to look at a roof and they're going to say, well, you got some years left in this, and then they might say, hey, well, I know of this product, that might be able to get you 5 to 10 more years, and then call us when you're ready for a new roof.
Yeah.
There's good contractors out there that work that way. And, those are the people I want to work with.
Yeah.
And I want to work in that manner as well. We really want to have a 5-star culture in my business and do what's right for people. And, you do what's right, and, you don't run into problems.
Right. Yeah. And you're right. I think if you give them, like, to your point about that home in San Jose, if you say, hey, listen, I can't warranty this, but I can get you a few more years so that you could save up. Here's a guy that you can call in a few years when you need to get that new roof. At least it gives them options, and not just like, oh God, I got to spend, an untold amount of money just to be able to get a new roof so that I could potentially, who knows, either sell the property or stay in it longer, whatever. But yeah, you're giving them options and giving them some freedom, I think, from being stuck, I think,
Right, right. And stuck with, not having money for a re-roof, and then
Right.
they, start getting leaks or problems. It's just potentially problematic for people. And this is a solution now that they can have that option. So I think it's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
how does it work exactly? I mean, if you don't mind dumbing it down for us that don't understand a lot about asphalt shingle roofs, and I guess a follow up question would be, is it something that you can apply every 2 to 3 years and get more than 5 or 10 years out of, or is it like a one time only? You're going to have to replace the roof after the one application at some point.
Yeah, it depends on the condition of the roof when you do the first application. Some roofs can only probably get 5 years, but when that's the case, we'll tell the customer, look, we'll come back out in 5 years and take another look and see if it could qualify again for another 5-year treatment. So each treatment is good for 5 years. At least, there's so many different kinds of shingles, and they're going to all be in a different condition. So Roof Maxx, they feel, some will last, 7, potentially longer, but they're comfortable with giving a 5-year warranty just because of the variation of the condition and, the type of shingles. So, but each treatment will give, the customer will get a 5-year transferable warranty. They say you can do it up to 3 times. So the company's 5 years old now, and they're constantly doing research. They're in development for another product that will actually help clean roofs at the same time. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you'll see a lot of roofs that have black staining. Some just sort of streaking black. Some roofs are completely black. And that's a condition of the lower quality shingles that are being manufactured these days. They're actually using less asphalt and they're using more crushed limestone. So there's an algae that feeds off the crushed limestone once the shingles start drying out. They're not protected anymore. So the exposed or the crushed limestone is food for that black algae. So you'll start seeing, once you see that black algae on a roof, then it's starting to dry out. It's a great indicator to know if a roof would benefit from a Roof Maxx treatment.
Wow. And so the product actually, from what I'm gathering, just rejuvenates or kind of rehydrates the roof?
It does rehydrate the roof. It's like, putting moisturizer on your arm, so to speak, but it actually will soak all the way through the shingle, and it actually binds with the carbon backbone of the molecules in there. And if the shingle was, stiff before, a lot of stiff shingles, you'll bend up the corner and it'll break or even potentially crumble. But after the treatment, it'll actually bend and be flexible and not break. It's pretty amazing. And it will restore, it'll bring back about 60% more waterproofing qualities in the shingle. It'll help the granules that are being lost to stay adhered on the shingle, which is a huge deal because those granules are what protects the asphalt underneath from the ultraviolet light of the sun. So it helps keep you see granules in the gutter, your roof is drying out to the point where those granules are starting to come off. And that's a good indicator also that your roof is dried out and could benefit from a Roof Maxx treatment.
What happens to the black algae after a Roof Maxx treatment?
Actually, depending on the severity of the black algae, it won't be able to feed anymore on the crushed limestone once the Roof Maxx soaks into it. And the Roof Maxx has a little bit of a kind of a cleaning characteristic also. Some of that black algae will go away, but we also offer roof cleaning services where we can get rid of all that black algae. So it's kind of an instantaneous improvement. You see all that black algae, then you get back to kind of the original visual aspect of the roof. So we do cleaning first on those more excessive black algae roofs. So it's
Kind of clean it before before you put all that product on there to kind of help
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and what I was thinking of is actually whether or not I should actually bring up some of the development that they're going
Trade
into right
secrets,
now.
huh?
Yeah, I guess I could probably bring it up. They're actually working on a product that will actually, actually clean the black algae as well as treat the roof at the same time.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be a
Like
benefit
a
for
single
folks.
application, and it gets rid of the black algae while treating the roof as well.
Right, exactly.
Very cool.
What's the training process like? When you're trying to train new guys that are doing this for you.
Well, training in real world situations is probably the best way. But when I started practicing, the application, we have to get at least a gallon per 100 square feet, or a gallon per square, as roofers call it. So that's the amount that has to be applied to be able to offer the warranty. So, practicing in 100 square foot area with a water in our tank kind of helps a lot to kind of figure that out. But when I've trained a couple of the guys so far, yeah, we've used a few extra gallons during the application because they're learning how to do it. But that was fine. The client got a little extra bonus.
So I mean, I would imagine from Roof Maxx, obviously you were certified to apply it and all those kind of things. When you bring somebody else on kind of under your umbrella, where the Roof Maxx is providing that warranty, is there any sort of process that you have to go through with Roof Maxx to bring people on kind of underneath you? How does that work?
Yeah, so each dealer gets certified through Roof Maxx. They have training videos, and they call it their Roof Maxx University. Once we're certified, we also have a certified dealer Facebook page that was amazing to join once I got certified, because it answered so many questions. I mean, there's 350 to 400 dealers, and there's a lot of them that are active on that Facebook page that you ever have a question, you can search it within the page to see if you can find the threads that they've talked about it already. Or you just ask the question, and everyone's really, working together very well. Everyone helps each other because it just helps the whole company. So that has been helpful. Each employee that I have has to go through that certification process also, so they understand, the basic principles and the philosophy behind Roof Maxx. They have to take a test at the end and get 100% before they can be certified.
And that's part of Roof Maxx's requirements to be able to offer that warranty for your product that you're doing.
Yeah, it's a requirement for me as the local dealer.
Right.
It's my territory, so it's not a requirement for employees to be certified. But I think it's, I personally, I want everyone to be certified. Yeah. And
especially
I think
if they're out there in the field meeting with those homeowners, and they have the knowledge and the backbone to understand what they're applying to their roofs, as opposed to just being the guy just spraying stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So true.
So you said you had hired an employee so far. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, is this somebody that you knew? Did you have a hiring process that you kind of put them through before you brought them in, or what was that process for you? Was it your buddy's question? Was it your son?
Actually, my son has helped me. He's 17, but he's not the one that I hired yet. Yeah, it was actually a friend, and he's actually an electrician, and he's been in the trades a long time.
Yeah,
he's built his own house, and he's very handy. He built a cob house on his property, which
he's
is
the guy you
amazing.
call when you have an issue.
Yeah, right, exactly. So he's pretty savvy and can figure things out. He's smart that way. So yeah, it's good to have him on board. And obviously, as things progress, there'll be a employment process
Yeah.
and application process. And, but he was available at this time and I needed him. Things started getting busy. So, yeah, it's good to have him on board.
That's awesome. We had a guy on here a little while ago, but he talked about how he went to go work for his father's company, and it was at Todd and Associates or something like that. And he said, I was the associate. So, and that's how they started, right? And now they've ballooned into this huge company. But so kind of going back, you mentioned about Roof Maxx is delivering those leads for you, which is awesome. What does that sales process look like for you when you're going out and trying to convert? Do you have a pretty high closing ratio? What does that process look like overall for you?
Yeah, it's really different. If it's a Facebook lead out of area like in San Jose, they'll put their information in, their telephone number, their address, their name, and their email. And I'll respond to them. I'll just say, hi, thanks for reaching out to learn more about Roof Maxx. If you're interested in a quote, then it'd be good to know how old your roof is and if you've had any leaks in the past year. So that's going to give us a general idea of, whether or not it's going to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So then, it leads into other questions as the messaging continues. If I get a call locally, someone wants an inspection, I'll go do the inspection, get on the roof after talking with the client about it and what we're going to do and what they can expect. And then, present the photo roof report with comments and, let them know that, yes, your roof qualifies for a treatment and we can definitely get you 5 more years of life. Maybe tell them why it'd be good to do it now as opposed to waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a roof I inspected probably 6 months ago. It was only 20 years old. I went up on there and it looked like, well, before I actually got up, I felt the shingles. They're pretty stiff. Looked like it could be treated. And then after walking across the whole roof, about 90% of the roof had cracks in it, stress cracks. So there was no way we could patch all those stress cracks. And if it had been treated 5 years before or 7 years, it would have been reflexibilized and not cracked like that. So it really depends on the location, the type of shingle. But, I'll explain that to a customer and they'll have a bunch of questions, usually a ton of questions, and which is understandable. And, I try and be patient. And so it's just me so far doing, the sales part of it.
Yep.
And that's what I'd like to focus on and have the crews technicians doing the work. And, it's a work in progress, but Roof Maxx is nationwide. They've been doing it for 5 years so far. They did their research and development for a couple of years before that. And, I'm fairly new to getting it started. So yeah, like I said, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far so good.
Are they pretty warm leads? I mean, I imagine that they've got, obviously if they're calling you, I'm sure it sounds like some people are too far beyond that point in terms of the roof, but it sounds like that, a great business that you can get into in terms of the leads that contact you, they're ready to buy basically pretty quick.
Yeah, some are like that, some are not. But it's, they'll see an ad or a video on Facebook and, I do some of my own Facebook marketing around here. It's kind of hit and miss with those leads. A lot of people will be looking through it at night, late at night, and then they'll enter their information and forget about it. And then, we'll reach out to them and they're like, what's this?
Well, I'm sure part of that process is just a lack of education of the public too, right? I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of people, and maybe it's not a lot, but I'm sure you get a good number of people that are only putting in information because they're curious. They've never seen a product like this and maybe just want to know more about it before actually getting into it. But that's just, one of the hurdles you gotta get over as a new thing out there for the public.
That's right. And that's what we're hoping Kevin Harrington can help get out there.
Sure. Yeah.
That's his deal. He's all about marketing. I don't know if you guys know, but his brand is On Scene on TV products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that started the infomercials. And or invested in him or got it going, and then he had his own product line. So he knows how to market. So hopefully that'll help.
Very cool.
I'm sure it will.
What's the future? What's the grand plan? What's the 5 or 10 year window picture, or the picture look like for you?
Well, the immediate plan is to make, to help enough people that I can actually cover my son's college education. Because he's 17, he's going to college pretty soon. But, I might get into other territories. I'd really like to focus here in Monterey County and probably venture into some other soy-based products like road rejuvenation, maybe dust abatement. They're as effective as petrochemicals. Even Goodyear Tire and Bridgestone Tire companies use a kind of a similar soy methyl ester formulation in their cold weather tire tread compounds. So in extreme colds, the treads stay flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So soy is a great product for that. There's a lot of history with soy, with Henry Ford and him making body parts out of soy, and he had his own soybean farm that he had scientists trying to develop stuff, and
car body parts, right? Not human body parts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's actually a video online somewhere where I think he took a sledgehammer to the trunk lid of one of his cars and it just bounced off. Wow. No damage. Pretty amazing. Yeah. So soy is kind of a wonder crop, but and Roof Maxx, they saw the issue a few years, 10 years ago, and then, tried to come up with a solution, and they partnered with the Ohio Soybean Council and Battelle Labs, which is, the biggest research lab in the world. So they picked the right partners to figure this out. And, I think in 5 years, it's going to be well known. I think Roof Maxx is going to be like the Coca-Cola of the soda industry. And the reason I say that is there's going to be other copycats that are going to come out. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But Roof Maxx is going to be that brand that stands out above the rest. And I think it was the owner of Roof Maxx, Mike Fiesel, that said when Pepsi came out, Coca-Cola's revenue went up. I haven't researched to fact check that yet, but
sounds good.
I don't doubt it. Competition is good,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're doing it better and
you're first to market.
And you're first to market. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, everything they've got going, it's a top-notch group, and I'm just thrilled to have the opportunity and feel fortunate enough to be a part of it.
Very cool, man. That's awesome. Before we let you go, we want to make sure we give you an opportunity to let the people know where to find you. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. I do have a Facebook page. You can go to My SoyLutions there, or actually the best place for anybody really to go is to just go to roofmax.com, and it's their website, corporate website. Any information that's put in there in my area will come to me, and it's roofmax with 2 X's.com. But if anyone wants to call me personally, happy to give my number out, and that's 831-224-7718.
Awesome. Very cool, Bill. Well, we appreciate your time. Hopefully this was a pleasant first podcast experience for you. Hopefully we didn't scare you away from doing more.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I appreciate it, guys. And next time I'll try and figure out whether or not I can give out any of those trade secrets.
Give out a little bit more, yeah.
Trying to figure it out here. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble for sure. Very cool, Bill.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks for taking time. We appreciate it. We'll stay in touch.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.